good. So Simon, who is good?
My kids will be impressed with that. John who?
Or good?
Yeah.
I speak grammatically.
Oh yeah, you're the one who lives in the roof. I'm the man.
He's the man who's the ghost of Christmas past.
That's it.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm not as jolly as
Do you want to go in?
yes, so we go in.
Yeah, go in. Somebody's coming to look after my children. I'm not allowed to take them down.
Ladies and gentlemen, lend me your ears. As the publisher of John Bird, I have been asked to say a few words to acquaint those assembled here this evening about John's personal war on the biggest issue of our time, how the rich exploit poverty, enabling and encouraging the rest of us to live off the poor. As you can imagine, the author has endured a hard life in an orphanage and served time in a young offenders institution in his teens. Having slept through with London homeless, he decided to take action. He found factory work and soon became a skilled printer. 21 years ago, he harnessed his knowledge of the print industry with his social vision and founded The Big Issue, sold by the homeless for the homeless. He is now a globally admired social entrepreneur. His book, The Necessity of Poverty, is a small tribute to his great charitable work for the homeless. In it, he stirs the conscience of his readers into supporting the poor in each and every way possible by pressurizing the conglomerates to do more for those in need and to have special regard to the fact that they do live off the poor, are under a moral obligation to do more and more to relieve some of the pains of poverty. We all have to join forces to eradicate poverty in an advanced society such as ours through the power of the pen and not the sword. This will have a more lasting effect and will in time prove to the world that the power of persuasion is the only civilized path to pursue. Sorry. So my message is clear. Look after the poor by preaching the gospel of the book. And the way to do that is to buy as many copies as you can afford so that the word is widely spread in order to go some way into winning John's war. I entreat you, don't let him down, for the struggle against poverty must continue. Thank you.
But the book that we have before us, which Naeem has backed and put his wonderful organisation to and got us a load of press, is a book that, in my opinion, is probably the most important book published since the Second World War about poverty. And why is it that? The reason it is such a unique book about poverty is it's about somebody who looks at poverty from underneath, who looks at poverty from a position of having lived poverty. I think one of the greatest problems in the world today is that we are always doing things for the poor. And in a way, just by doing things for the poor, you turn them into another species. And by doing that, you limit their escape mechanism, their escape route out of poverty. So what I've tried to address in my book is how we can free the poor up. We can enable the poor to provide their own answers. And instead of stepping in their way and saying, here, we're going to give you a hand out rather than a hand up, then what you do is you prolong their life in poverty. You create the human rights abuses that occur when people are tied up on social security and those sorts of things like that. Is it not interesting that a few years ago we had a major demonstration in London about a load of people getting very, very hyperventilated because they were refused social security. And who were those people? They were the students of our land. But we didn't call it social security when it was a grant. What did we call it? We called it a grant. We called it a hand up. We didn't call it a handout. But we give the poor. We give the poorest in the land. We give the people stuck on housing estates. We give them a handout, and we do it grudgingly. We do it and we say, here, take it. You don't really deserve it. And the press is always having a go at the undeserved poor. I'm saying, let's make the poor deserving by giving them the social mobility that many members of our audience got over the last 100 years. In the last 100 years, the British middle class grew by 70%. And they were people who were formerly from a very, very poor background. But what's actually happened with the invention of the corruption of the welfare state, which has become the social security system, it stopped people in their tracks. There's one person who I think sums this up, and that's Ed Miliband. If Ed Miliband's family had come here as refugees from the Nazis in 1944-45, what would have happened to him if when they got off the boat at the Hook of Holland and somebody said, oh, you're destitute. Well, here's a council house. Oh, you're destitute. Here's enough money just to kind of make do. Then Mr. Miliband wouldn't be running the Labour Party. He would be picking his nose on a housing estate somewhere left and bereft. What I'm saying is, let's get off the back of the poor. Let the poor express their own beings and their own well-being, and getting out of a need. Let's create hand-ups, not handouts. Thank you, Naim. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. And another thing. All right. I was asked the other day.
We want more.
No, I was asked the other day, and they said, so where do you fit politically? I said, I'm a provider for the poor. When you're a provider for the poor, you get in bed with everybody. If you have to sleep with John Major, you sleep with John Major. If you have to sleep with Tony Blair, you sleep with Tony Blair. A provider always is running around trying to brown-nose the system because they are there for the poor. They're not there for themselves. So you can, at last, I can define myself. I am a Marxist Tory. Thank you very much. Keep buying.
Yeah, over here.
Yeah, and there you are, ladies over there.
Excellent. That is a good photograph. Thank you. Thank you very much.
We've got to go. Okay. All right, mate. I've got to sit on.